If the algorithm has been quietly deciding who lives and who dies for 350 years without anyone's permission, then Silo Season 3, Episode 5 might be the first time the system gets caught doing it in real time. And what makes that so terrifying is not just that the machine may be acting on its own now, it is that nobody inside the silo may be powerful enough to stop it once it starts. That is the feeling this trailer leaves behind. Not action, not spectacle, dread. The slow, creeping kind that tells you every character is about to walk into something they cannot undo. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, this trailer is doing something I genuinely love, and most people probably will not notice it on first watch. It is refusing to show us the biggest reveal. Every major moment in the footage either cuts away too early, stays just out of focus, or hides behind a door, a shadow, or a face we cannot fully identify. And in my opinion, that is intentional, because it means whatever Episode 5 is about to drop is too important to tease cleanly. The show wants us guessing, it wants us uncomfortable, and based on what the trailer does show, I think it is working. Now, let me rewind and start with Juliette, because even though she has been the center of this season from the beginning, something about her energy in this trailer feels fundamentally different. She is no longer the confused woman trying to piece together fragments. She is no longer passively hoping someone else will explain what happened to her. She looks like someone who has stopped asking for permission and started demanding answers.
And that shift matters enormously because the entire power structure of Silo 1-8 was built around keeping her docile. The medication, the fake narrative, the public worship, the controlled environment, all of it was designed to keep Juliette performing peace while the real decisions happened above her head. But this trailer suggests that performance is over. She is moving with purpose now. And once Juliette moves with purpose, history tells us things inside the silo tend to break very fast. Now, here is the detail that most people will probably miss on their first watch, but I think could end up being the most important clue in the entire trailer. There is a shot of emergency lights turning red across multiple levels. At first glance, it looks like another lockdown sequence, standard silo procedure, but look at the faces around it. Nobody looks prepared. Nobody looks like they expected this. That tells me this may not be a human decision at all. What if the algorithm triggered something independently? What if it decided the current trajectory of the population was too unstable and initiated an emergency protocol that nobody on the committee approved? That possibility is genuinely scary because it means the system everyone has been following is no longer waiting for permission. It is acting on its own calculations. And if that is true, then Episode 5 may be the moment where the question shifts from can Juliette survive to can anyone inside the silo still override the machine that runs it?
Now let's talk about Camille, because her scenes in this trailer may be the most emotionally loaded ones outside of Juliette herself. Until now, she has operated as the algorithm's most trusted human extension. She followed orders, she believed in the logic, she accepted that sacrifice was sometimes necessary for stability. But the trailer gives the impression that something is starting to crack inside that conviction. If the algorithm starts demanding actions that cross even her moral boundaries, then Camille faces a choice that could redefine the entire power structure. Does she keep obeying a system that may no longer care about the people it was designed to protect? Or does she finally admit that loyalty to a machine is not the same thing as loyalty to humanity? In my opinion, that conflict could be one of the strongest emotional threads in the entire episode. And if she breaks from the algorithm even slightly, the ripple effect on Sims, on the committee, and on the silo itself could be enormous. Now here is the what if that has been sitting in my head since I first watched this trailer through. What if the biggest danger in Episode 5 is not someone breaking into the system, but the system itself deciding that the current population has become too aware to manage? Because we already know the Great Reset is on the table. We already know the algorithm has 350 years of data supporting its belief that suppression works.
So what happens when the data starts telling it that suppression is failing? Does it wait patiently for Camille to fix things, or does it start moving on its own? If that is where the show is heading, then the algorithm stops being a background tool and becomes the active antagonist of the season. And honestly, that would be brilliant, because it would mean the real villain of Silo has never been a person. It has always been the philosophy that built the machine. Now let's move to the underground sections, because the trailer keeps flashing shots of tunnels and sealed areas that look much older than anything we've explored before. And I think that matters a lot, because if those areas predate the current generation by centuries, then whatever's down there was hidden intentionally by the founders. And the founders did not hide things because they were unimportant. They hid things because the truth was too dangerous for the system they were building. If Juliette, or anyone close to her, reaches those sections, then Episode 5 could finally start answering the one question the show has been protecting since Season 1. Why were the silos really built? Not the surface answer, not the safety answer, the actual answer. The one that explains why every generation has to be chemically managed, socially controlled, and kept from ever seeing the full picture. Now let's talk about the outside world, because the trailer keeps teasing it without ever fully committing. Distant shots, strange sounds, quick environmental flashes that could be real or could be memory. That ambiguity is deliberate because the show knows the outside is its biggest card. If the outside is truly changing, if other survivors exist,
If the toxic atmosphere is no longer what it was, then the entire justification for the silo collapses overnight. And once that justification is gone, there is no reason left for the algorithm, the medication, the pact, or any of the structures that have kept people underground for centuries. That is why the system fights so hard to prevent anyone from remembering what is out there. It is not protecting people from danger, it is protecting itself from irrelevance. Now, Knox deserves attention too, because his body language in the trailer does not look like a man preparing for victory. It looks like a man carrying something he wishes he did not know. And if that is the case, then the rebellion may be heading toward an internal crisis before it ever reaches the external one. Because what happens when the people fighting for freedom discover that the truth they uncovered is even uglier than the lie they were fighting against? Do they keep pushing? Do they protect their people by holding back? Do they become the very thing they wanted to destroy, another group deciding what others are allowed to know? That moral conflict could become one of the most powerful themes of the episode. Now let me lock in a prediction. I think Episode 5 does not end with the mystery solved. I think it ends with a much worse realization, that the silo was never just a shelter. It was a controlled experiment that has been running for over 3 centuries, and the algorithm was never designed to protect people. It was designed to manage them. There is a massive difference between those two things. Protection cares about outcomes. Management cares about compliance. And if the characters finally see that distinction clearly, then everything about how they view their world changes permanently. That is the kind of reveal that does not just move the plot forward, it breaks the emotional foundation the entire show has been standing on. Now, before I finish, here is the fast-fire version of what this trailer is really telling us. Juliette is no longer confused. She is hunting answers. The algorithm may be acting independently now. Camille could be approaching her moral breaking point. The underground sections may contain the founders' real history. The outside world is being teased more aggressively than ever. Knox may know something that could tear the rebellion apart from inside. The emergency lights suggest a protocol nobody authorized. And the biggest enemy in this story has never been a person. It has always been the system that decided what people were allowed to remember. That is why this trailer feels so heavy. Not because of what it shows, because of what it refuses to reveal. And if the full episode delivers on even half of what these clues suggest, then Episode 5 could become the turning point where Silo stops being a survival drama and becomes something bigger. A story about whether humanity can handle the truth once the machine that hid it finally loses control. But I left out one detail from this trailer on purpose, and I want to see if anyone in the comments can figure out what it is. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know below. Do you think the algorithm is still serving humanity, or has it been quietly replacing human judgment for so long that nobody noticed it became the real authority? I will catch you in the next one.